how to make your own weaving. You will need scissors and tape, string and yarn. String is thinner and doesn't move when you pull it. Yarn is soft and thicker. A cardboard loom. A loom is what you need to weave on. It has the cuts on the side of it. And a marker to write your name. First, take the string and put it through one of the slots on the side of the loom. You're going to want to wrap that string around the first cardboard peg and tie a knot. You will want to use a double knot because you want it to be really strong and not fall apart. On the back of your loom, you're going to want to tape your string so it doesn't get in the way. And you're going to want to write your name on the tape, not on the cardboard. Take the long end of the string and place it through the same notch that you already have the knot going through. And pull it down across the cardboard to the other side, putting it in the notch at the bottom. Go back up the notch that is next to it, across the cardboard loom to the notch across from that. Continue that pattern until you make it all the way across the loom. After you have strings going all the way across the loom like a guitar, wrap the other end around the last notch and tie a knot so it doesn't fall off. Cut off any extra string and tape that end to the back as well. We don't want these strings getting in our way as we begin to weave. Now it's time to use the yarn. Pick your first color and tie it to one of the strings that are at the side of your weaving. Pick up the other end and begin weaving. The weaving pattern goes under, over, under, over. Repeat that pattern until you get to the other side of the cardboard. Then you're going to turn around and weave the opposite direction, under, over, under, over. But this is the tricky part because you need to make sure the string does the opposite of the string on top of it. So that string on the top row is over, so the one under it needs to be under. Then I go under this one, over that one, under this one, over that one, under this one. You just have to make sure it's the opposite of the top row. Then carefully scoot the string so it snuggles up against the string above it. So what happens if you do the wrong under and over? Let me show you. So here I'm going under the strings that already have a string going underneath of it. And oops, look, it undid all my work. It's really clear to see if you've made a mistake because it just ruins what was done before it. So now I'm going to make sure that my next string does the opposite of the row above it. Under, over, under, over. And when the two rows go up against each other, it should almost completely hide the white string. It makes it just be pink with little hints of white sticking through. Make sure not to pull the string too tight, because if you do, the sides will be pulled in and your weaving won't be a perfect square. Keep those strings completely up and down and not bent on the side. Keep weaving till you get to the end of your string, but don't forget to leave a tail that is long enough to tie a knot. If it's too short at the end, it makes the knot tying very difficult. And actually, mine's almost a little bit too short here. I wish it was longer. This knot that I'm tying right here is a little bit difficult because this string is so short. After you've finished with a color, get your next string and continue to weave, making sure that your pattern is opposite of the string above it. Tie your knot on the end and over, under, over, under. I'm going to speed up to the next video and we will learn how to finish a weaving. So first thing you're going to want to do is push your strings together and make sure you have enough space at the top and the bottom of your weavings to tie knots. You don't want the yarn to be right up against each of the cuts. Then go ahead and trim all those extra pieces of yarn that are sticking off the ends. Now it's time to remove the weaving from the loom. This part always makes me a little bit nervous because it seems like everything is just going to fall apart, and you do need to be very careful. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the loops off the back. Then I'm going to tie those loose strings that I just cut together, 2 at a time, so that the weaving doesn't fall off of them. Then you can remove the strings from the other side of the loom without even cutting them. They should just slide right off. Now this is the point that you have to make a choice. Are you making a weaving to hang on the wall, or are you using it to lay flat on a table or as like a tiny blanket? If you're going to hang it on the wall, all you have to do is take a stick and put it through each of the loops that are left that you didn't cut. Then you're going to want to take a piece of string and tie it from one end of the stick to the other, so that way it can hang from a nail or a hook on your wall. So that's option 1, wall hanging. The other option you have is to tie the ends just like you did at the bottom by cutting each of the loops and then retying them together so that you can use this like a blanket or a coaster or, I don't know, whatever you want this tiny weaving to be. Make sure to tie every 2 strings together, one from the front of the weaving and one from the back. This will make sure nothing falls off or gets out of place. And voila!